Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy April 1st. And in today's video, I have some Sephora sale recommendations for you. So I have literally never done a video like this before for VIB or Sephora sale recommendations, but I've been seeing a few of them pop up and I thought to myself, I have a lot of really great things from Sephora that I absolutely love, and I thought, why not follow the trend and do my own Sephora sale recommendation video. So if you guys are interested in seeing what I would recommend, what are my top picks, my absolute favorite things from Sephora, some of the items that I myself would be repurchasing during the sale to save a few dollars, then stay tuned. And if you're new here, I would love if you consider subscribing, and you can also feel free to head over and follow me on Instagram. And with that out of the way, you guys, let's get started in today's top recommendations. All right, so my first recommendation is a vitamin C serum. This is the CEO Glow Vitamin C and Turmeric face oil from Sunday Riley. So this face oil I have been using for about 6 months now, and as you guys can see, it lasts a really long time. This type of vitamin C has THD, so tetrahexadecyl ascorbate, which is a little bit more gentle on people who have sensitive skin. So if you're like me and you have sensitive dry skin and you also want something that is going to give you a nice glow and make your skin look very plump and hydrated and dewy, if you have dry sensitive skin in particular, this is a fantastic vitamin C to go with. It does have a little bit of a subtle scent to it as well. This has a little bit of kind of a citrusy orange type of scent, and it also smells a little bit like turmeric. So it's a very subtle scent. I will be honest, I'm kind of getting tired of the way that it smells. One other top recommendation that I would give you guys for a vitamin C serum is the other Sunday Riley, which is the vitamin C brightening cream or brightening serum. It comes in the opaque orange container. That is the one that I think I'm going to go back to after I'm done this one, just because I kind of get tired of things. I like to switch it up every once in a while, and I kind of miss the creamy consistency of the other one. I've been using this one, like I said, for a really long time, and while I really enjoy it, I just kind of want to switch it up a little bit. So those would be my top 2 vitamin C recommendations for you guys. This does not hurt my skin. It's very gentle, and it always gives me a beautiful lit from within glow, and no matter what I put on top of it, it always makes my skin look very healthy and very hydrated. And because this is the THD ascorbate, it also is more stable and lasts a little bit longer than ascorbic acid. So this one isn't going to turn brown or yellow. It's not going to oxidize and make your skin look a funny color. I have had that happen before with some vitamin C serums, and also it just lasts a little bit longer in the bottle. My next recommendation is a hair mask, and I don't usually like to spend a ton of money on these expensive hair masks, but this is one of the ones that I feel might be worth the money if you get it at a discount, emphasis on discount, because it's quite expensive. It does last a really long time. This is the Gisou Honey Infused Hair Mask. Now, I have had this on the go in my shower. Again, similar to the vitamin C, I have been working away at this for probably like 4 to 5 months at this point, and I still have some left. So because of that, and because it does make my hair feel very soft and very silky and very hydrated, I think this is worth the money, but I will definitely be re-upping on this when it goes on sale. So like I said, this makes my hair feel very soft and very silky. It has a really creamy texture to it, and a beautiful, subtle, gentle kind of a scent to it. It's not overly heavy. It doesn't really particularly smell like honey. It's just kind of like a soft, gentle, pretty scent, and I quite like it. It feels just really hydrating and really nourishing for the hair, and I quite enjoy it. So I haven't found another hair mask at this moment that I want to repurchase other than this one, so that's why I'm making this one my recommendation. I also really like the leave-in conditioner, which I also have. So kind of between those two, they're both great options for the Sephora sale. The next recommendation is actually a perfume, and I haven't done a lot of perfume content lately, and I don't actually own a lot of designer scents anymore in my collection. But when I was looking at my perfume collection, I was asking myself, what perfume would I recommend people to get for the Sephora savings event? This was the one that I decided on, and this is Black Opium Le Parfum from Yves Saint Laurent. So this is a beautiful vanilla scent. It's a very easy to wear, compliment getting fragrance. I have had this in my collection now for a few months. I have gotten so many compliments on this. It's really easy to wear. This has 3 different types of vanilla. It also has that typical kind of pear, jasmine, coffee fragrance that all of the Black Opiums have, but this one has an overemphasis on the vanilla, so it's a lot more vanillic. It's a lot more creamy, very, very pretty, and it also has solar notes in it. So it kind of lends itself to smelling a little bit almondy, almost like a warm hug on a summer day. So it's kind of like that traditional black opium, more vanilla, and a little bit more daytime appropriate almost, and it just smells more unique to me than all of the other black opiums, and I really, really like it. So I have gotten compliments on this myself when I've worn it out to dinner, but also I was actually at a Shoppers Drug Mart one day, and the sales associate smelled so good, and I asked her, I said, "What perfume are you wearing? You smell amazing." And it was this one. I couldn't even tell that this was the perfume she was wearing. I just know she smelled amazing. So yeah, really great fragrance. And like I said, I'm kind of going more in the niche direction when it comes to perfumes these days, but this would be my top designer perfume recommendation. All right, my next recommendation is kind of boring and mundane because I feel like everybody already has these, but this is truly one of the only lip products that I have tried from Sephora that I think is worth the price. Usually I just go with Blistex, but this has been my every single night lip treatment that I put on my lips before bed every single night without fail. It lasts forever. This is the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask in the scent, or in the flavor vanilla rather. And first of all, the packaging is very, very pretty. It looks beautiful sitting on my bedside table beside my bed. It kind of blends in with all of my decor. And as you can see, I have had this for like probably a year or more, you guys, and look at how much is missing. I've made only a small dent in here, and I love that it is kind of just subtly scented. So it's not overly scented, it's not sticky, super, super hydrating and nourishing for the lips. You only need a tiny amount of this. It goes such a long way, and it makes my lips feel like they're getting a really nice, nourishing, hydrating treatment while I sleep overnight. So this would be my top lip product recommendation, even though I know it's already super popular. I haven't tried many of the other flavors, but I just have so much left of this one. I don't think that I need another one at this moment. Okay, so I thought I would switch it up and actually share a couple of brushes with you guys. So obviously there's so many great brushes that you can get from Sephora, but when I was looking at my brush collection, these are the two that I would say are my most favorite brushes. But these are the two brushes that I feel like I reach for a lot, and I just really, really like them. I've done so many brush declutters and I always end up keeping these ones. So the large one is the Pro Powder 50 brush from the Sephora collection, and it is my absolute favorite powder brush. It has super soft, fluffy bristles, and it just really distributes my finishing powder really nicely and evenly across my face. So I actually got this, I think, last summer, and it has become my new favorite powder brush. The next one is the Rare Beauty concealer brush, actually, and I use this to contour my nose. So I don't use it as a concealer brush. As you can see, it's a little bit dark because I use it with contour products, and it is just the perfect density and the perfect size and the perfect shape to really get around the bridge of your nose and contour. So these would be my top two brush recommendations. If you have not checked them out, is the Sephora 50 and the Rare Beauty concealer brush. So speaking of contour products, this has been my top favorite contour product so far from Sephora, and it is the Milk Makeup Sculpt Stick in the shade Toasted. So what I really like about these, first of all, they're really affordable. Also, you really don't need very much because they last a really long time, especially if you just use it for contouring. And I usually just contour the sides of my nose. I don't typically contour my entire face. So because of that, this just lasts a really long time. And this is the perfect shade for contour for fair to light skin tones, I would say, is the shade Toasted. It's the perfect neutral, slightly cool toned brown, and I really like the formula. It's really easy to work with, really easy to apply. Yeah, and also the price is good even when it's not a sale. So this is my top contour product that I would recommend. I have tried the Fenty, I think they're called matchsticks. I prefer this over the Fenty matchstick, but I'm really interested to try the new Rare Beauty sculpting sticks or contour sticks, so I might actually have to check those out during the sale because they look like they're a really amazing formula. The next product is a skincare product, and this is the Faded Topicals Brightening and Clearing Serum. I have used this before already and gone through an entire container. So this is essentially for hyperpigmentation, dark spots, sunspots, if you have any post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation from pimples or anything like that. And I have used this before with really good results. Kind of my trifecta, if you will, or like my holy grail ingredients that I have seen the best results with my skin, with, is sunscreen, obviously, every single day, which unfortunately I don't have a top Sephora sunscreen recommendation because I just use Coppertone. But sunscreen, some sort of a retinoid. My favorite was adapalene, still is adapalene. And then also some sort of a brightening, like skin brightening product. And this was the one I have used and had good results with. It's also quite gentle. Couple things I don't love about it. I'm not crazy about the packaging because actually in my old container that I had of this, because this is like a metal, it kind of like bent a little bit here and to the point that it started cracking. So, and also like you have to be careful not to squish it too much because then when you take the cap off, a whole bunch will come out. So I'm not a huge fan of the packaging. I kind of wish it was more in like a airless pump or something. But this has a whole bunch of hero ingredients that are really, really good for brightening your skin and evening out your skin tone and your complexion. So it has kojic acid, tranexamic acid, melatonin, niacinamide, licorice root, and azelaic acid, all of which are phenomenal and work on different parts of the pathway, so to speak, for pigment in your skin. So this has kind of a funny smell. It doesn't last though. I kind of get over it pretty quickly. It doesn't bother me. And this is my top skin brightening recommendation aside from the vitamin C serums. All right, so I do have a few moisturizers to share with you. This is the Skinfix Barrier Triple Lipid Peptide Cream. So this I'm almost out of. This is actually a refillable container. You can screw off the bottom and you can buy refills for the container. And otherwise it has a pump mechanism at the top to dispense your product. I'm actually not a huge fan of the packaging because it's bright blue, it's big, it's kind of bulky, it's kind of heavy, and I feel like it's kind of maximal packaging because you do still end up throwing out, you know, a large part and then you just get the refill. I feel like the packaging is a little much and I would prefer like a glass package if I'm honest. It is really handy though because when you do pump out the product, it does pump out the perfect amount for each use. So it's very easy to get the right amount, and it also keeps the product inside clean and all of that stuff and doesn't expose it to air. So this product is fantastic. I actually got this on the recommendation of Dr. Shaw from the channel Doctorly when I was looking for a really great cream for my skin. So this is super gentle, super hydrating, super nourishing, really good for dry, sensitive skin. It's fragrance free. It's got peptides in it, which help stimulate collagen production. It's got lipids, which are essential for your skin's barrier. And it's just a really, really nice cream. I wear this when I just need deep hydration. I don't want any bells or whistles. I don't want something fragranced, even if my skin is sensitive or irritated from like tretinoin or adapalene or something like that. And I just kind of need to give my skin some good hydration. My skin feels really hydrated after I use it, and it's very gentle. So I feel like this is a great like no nonsense skincare product that also has a lot of really great benefits for your skin. So I'm almost actually out of this one. I can't see obviously what's in there, which is another pet peeve of mine, is that I don't know how much is in there. And because the packaging is kind of heavy, it like feels like it's got lots, but I don't think there's much left. So I'm almost out of this. And when I'm out, I don't know if I'll repurchase it right away because I have a couple of other ones on the go that I want to go through. And I actually have two moisturizers that I like better than this one. All right, so my second favorite moisturizer, I'm going to save my favorite for last. This is the Farmacy Honey Halo Ultra Hydrating Ceramide Moisturizer. This is a repurchase of mine ×3. So this is my third container of this product. I absolutely love it. It was a recommendation to me from one of the sales associates about maybe a year and a half ago, I want to say. And I'm so glad that they recommended this to me because I'm absolutely head over heels in love with it. So first of all, the packaging, really nice. It's a nice glass container with a wooden lid, and the lid is also magnetic. So you can actually keep your spatula, oops, I'm going to drop it. You can keep your spatula on the lid so you don't lose it. One thing I will say is that because it's shaped like a honeycomb, it is actually kind of hard to get in there and get the last little bits of moisturizer. So again, the packaging, like it's good, but the shape is a little bit annoying. But what I love about this moisturizer, you guys, it has a very subtle honey scent to it. It's super, super hydrating, and the texture is like butter. It literally feels like you're putting butter on your skin, but not in a greasy way. And it just melts into your skin skin. It is so nourishing. My skin absolutely loves it. I've even used this in the driest of climates, and my skin was really, really happy and really moisturized. I really like that it has ceramides in it, which is essential for your skin barrier. And also honey, you guys. Honey is really, really healing and really good for the skin. I work in healthcare and we put honey on people's wounds a lot. So honey is just fantastic for your skin. I love the scent of this. Like, to me, it's kind of synonymous with just self-care. Like, the scent of this makes me feel like I'm doing something good for my skin, and I really enjoy it. So I haven't opened this container yet, but once I'm out of the Skinfix Triple Lipid, this is the one I'm going to go to. And yeah, I just might keep up with this one because I love it so much. So yeah, until I find something better. Well, I do have one face cream that I like better, but I use them at different times of day. So this is usually my nighttime moisturizer, and I'll show you what my daytime moisturizer favorite is. All right, and this is my top #1 favorite moisturizer from Sephora. This is the Sunday Riley Ice Ceramide Moisturizer. I have yet to find a moisturizer that I like as much as this one. This one makes my skin, I've told you guys, so plump, so dewy, so hydrated. It smells amazing. The packaging is beautiful. Everything about it is perfect. It's very cosmetically elegant. It feels like a dream to apply. There's a little cat hair there that I'm going to get rid of. Oh my God, you guys. I love this stuff so much. Look at the texture. It's so rich and beautiful and just so, so nice to apply. And it has a very gentle, subtle, sort of a vanilla kissed almond kind of a scent to it. It's not overpowering, but I really appreciate all of the senses when it comes to skincare. I want something that feels nice, looks nice, makes my skin feel good, and also I appreciate when it does have a little gentle scent. I like scent. It's part of the experience for me, and I know that some people prefer fragrance-free. Fragrance doesn't seem to bother my skin, so I love the way that this smells. It's fantastic. So like I've told you guys before, I would challenge you to try using this and not fall in love with it. I really think that if you try this, you would fall in love with it. So this also has vitamin F in it, which actually is just lipids. It has ceramides. It's like I gave my skin a drink of water. It just instantly gets plump and hydrated, and I cannot say enough good things about this moisturizer. It is a little bit on the pricey side. It's not as expensive as something like La Mer, but it is a little bit pricey, so definitely something I would recommend to purchase during a sale. Lucky for me, this is probably going to last a long time, because I usually only use it in the morning and I use another one at night. So I don't think I have to repurchase this one during this particular sale. Okay, so we're all through with skincare products, and now I'm going to move on to some more makeup products. So this is the newest eyeshadow palette from Makeup by Mario. This is the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes The Neutrals palette. So this palette has been getting a ton of hype lately. I don't think I have to say too much about this palette, because if you're into skincare, if you're into makeup, if you're into Sephora stuff, you've probably already seen people using this in a lot of videos. Or I'm not on TikTok, but if you are on TikTok, you've probably seen a lot of people talking about this. I'm supposed to be on a makeup low buy, no buy at the moment, and eyeshadow was one area that I was not planning to purchase any eyeshadows because I don't use eyeshadow a lot as it is. However, when I saw these colors, you guys, I decided to make an exception and purchase it and break my makeup no buy, because this was the absolute most beautiful, perfect color story I have pretty much ever seen in an eyeshadow palette. All the colors just really spoke to me. As somebody who is neutral skin toned, leaning a little bit cool, I often find it hard to find eyeshadows that are cool enough for me or that are neutral enough for me. So when I saw this, I just like gravitated toward it. So not only are the colors beautiful, you guys, but the formula is actually super, super nice. It's really easy to use. It's very beginner friendly, very pigmented, but very buildable. So the formula is like really nice and powdery. It's not too heavy. It's not too creamy. It's very buildable. It blends out really well. And yeah, I just think it's absolutely stunning. And I also really like the packaging. I like that the packaging is quite minimalistic. I like the closure on it. I like that it's compact enough you could take it with you on a vacation. So it's kind of like that perfect sized palette that you can accomplish any look with. You can go full glam, or you can go for like a basic everyday look, which is what I usually do. All right, my next makeup product, and recommendation for the sale is this concealer. This is kind of my current go-to favorite concealer that I just keep reaching for. I have about 4 concealers, I think, in my entire makeup arsenal, which isn't a ton. I feel like these days a lot of people have tons and tons of different products on rotation. I only have about 3 or 4 concealers, but this seems to be the one that I reach for the most out of any of them. I really like the formula, the texture, the consistency, the coverage, the lasting power. This is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Smooth and Blur Undetectable Concealer, it says, and this is in the shade 1.1N. So that's what the applicator looks like. And I just, first of all, I'm really happy with the shade match. I have been having a hard time over the last few years finding shade matches for me. This is pretty much a perfect shade match for me. Looks fantastic under foundation, over top of foundation. It's nice and silky and easy to apply. It's kind of a thinner consistency, but still has really good coverage. So this has been kind of just my go-to, my most gravitated toward concealer. All right, so I have 2 foundations to recommend to you guys. This is my favorite sort of My Skin But Better, kind of glowy, more of a skin tint, no makeup type of foundation. This is what I wear on more casual days, kind of like an everyday easy go-to. This is the Makeup by Mario. I can't remember the name of this. The Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation in the shade 1C. So one thing I will say about this is that, again, I'm happy that I found a really good shade match. For me, for some reason, it's really hard to find a good shade match, and that is the biggest hurdle for me. After finding a good shade match, then I just look for something that has the coverage that I like and isn't too drying or too heavy or too mattifying on my skin. So this has a light to medium coverage. It's buildable. It has kind of a pearlescence in it. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but there is a little bit of a pearlescence to this, and it doesn't ever completely dry down, it doesn't feel like. Like, it does set a little bit throughout the day, but I think that's been some people's common complaint about this product, is that it always seems to be a little bit dewy. It never feels like it completely dries down unless you go on with a bunch of powder. But that's kind of what I like about this, because I like to have that dewy skin look, especially on no makeup days, especially if I'm just like going to work, or I just want my skin to look hydrated and healthy, but I just want to maybe even out my complexion a little bit. So it also comes in this super nice pump bottle, and I just absolutely love it. Makeup by Mario is a brand that I have discovered I quite like a lot of products from this particular brand. Yeah, so my skin always looks amazing with this. It's flawless. It goes on really nicely. It's like hydrating. It has just the right amount of coverage. So this I would definitely recommend. One of my favorites, I've tried quite a few. I've tried the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin. What else have I tried? I've tried the Fenty Beauty Drops, is that what they're called? Or the Fenty Skin Tint. Anyways, I've tried quite a few of these like lighter consistency products. The Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint, I've tried so many, and this one for me just really comes out on top, both in the shade range as well as the coverage and the way it looks on the skin. All right, and this is my last foundation recommendation. This is the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation in the shade 0N1 Silk. I honestly don't think that this foundation gets enough hype. I almost never hear anybody talking about it. I feel like I always see people talking about like Armani Luminous Silk or the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I always see people talking about some of those more popular products, I guess, but I don't know if I've ever seen anyone talking about this one, to be honest. This is such a beautiful formula, and they also have really good shade ranges. So if you're like me and you are fair and neutral and you have a really hard time finding a foundation that isn't too orange or too warm in those lighter, more fair like shade range, check out Laura Mercier. They have a great shade range. And for me, I was so happy to find a perfect match in this shade 0N1 Silk. So if we are shade twins, check this one out. I think it's the lightest one that they have in the entire range. So this foundation is a little bit more full coverage. It's like a medium to full coverage. Again, it's very buildable. It has a really nice skin-like kind of a satin finish. So this one for me is what I use when I want to go a little bit more full coverage, a little bit more matte, not so dewy, not so pearlescent or glowy. If I'm going out for a date, going out in the evening, if I want a full face of makeup that I don't want to budge and I want to feel like it's staying in place, and it's giving me the coverage. The Makeup by Mario is a little bit more kind of like casual for me, I feel like. It kind of slips around on my face a little bit more, if that makes sense. Especially on top of my sunscreen and my vitamin C and all of that kind of stuff. This just gives me the most beautiful skin-like pretty finish. It's not too drying. It's not too matte. Comes in a really nice pump. The only thing I will say about this is the pump is a little bit finicky. Like, you can't do a partial pump or like a little bit. You kind of just get a whole pump or nothing. So it's kind of hard to just pump out a small amount of this is the only complaint I would have, but otherwise I absolutely love it. Definitely check this out. So that is my top favorite. And you guys, I have tried like, I don't know, I've tried so many different foundations in the last year. And I would say this one comes out on top for me personally. My favorite foundation discovery, like so far to date from Sephora. All right, the next product is a finishing powder. This is my holy grail favorite finishing powder of all time. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder, and this is in the shade Ethereal Light. I actually had it in the Diffused Light, which is one shade darker, and then I tried this one, which was a little bit lighter, and I think this one is a better color for my skin tone and skin shade. This powder, you guys, first of all, yes, it's expensive, but it honestly, when you apply it to your skin, it honestly makes it look like you've airbrushed your skin. Like, it looks like you've put an airbrushing filter over your face. It is amazing. The way that this kind of blends over top of all of my other makeup just looks absolutely flawless. It's just such a beautiful formula. I think that all of the Hourglass powder products are just amazing. And this lasts forever. So yes, it's expensive, but this little pan will last forever. I feel like you get a lot more product in here than you do with a lot of other finishing powders, like compact powders. And this one I just keep going back to. Like, if I'm going away on vacation, if I'm going away for the weekend, if I could only take one finishing powder with me, this is the one that I'm taking, although I do have one other powder that I like and would recommend, but this is the one I would bring with me. It just never fails and it never does me wrong. So I really recommend checking this out if you are in the market for a good finishing powder. Okay, my second favorite finishing powder, although I really want to try the Givenchy. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish, and this is in the shade One Fair. So this one I do not use as much as my Hourglass. I kind of always worry that I'm going to drop this because it's kind of a skinny package and I have a hard time opening it compared to the Hourglass, and also because it is such a small amount in that pan. Like, this is kind of expensive, you guys, and look at, you really do not get very much. I feel like, and I haven't actually done the math, but I feel like for the cost, I feel like the Hourglass just is a better value because I feel like you get more, or it looks like you get more. However, I really like this powder. I will say that this powder is actually fantastic. It's really finely milled. I think this is a lot of people's favorite kind of holy grail finishing powders for that reason. And this definitely just does kind of the same thing that Hourglass does. It melts into the skin. This one has a little bit less of a radiance. The Hourglass kind of illuminates your face a little bit more and has a little bit more of a kind of a radiance to it, or a pearlescence about it. This doesn't have that. This is definitely a little bit more matte. So it kind of depends on the vibe, but honestly, you cannot go wrong with either of them. Anytime I have used this, anytime I have used Hourglass, both, I was very happy with the results. So this would be my second favorite. But like I said, you guys, I would really like to try the Givenchy Prism Libre finishing powder, I think is what it's called. So yeah, if you guys have tried that one, let me know, because that is one I would really like to get my hands on during 2024 and see if I like it. Okay, and I have one bronzer recommendation. This is my favorite bronzer. I discovered this in 2023, and this bronzer was the one that ultimately made me declutter all of my other bronzers because I loved the color, the application, the formula. I loved everything about it so much, including the packaging, which is absolutely stunning. This is the Dior Forever Natural Bronzer, and this is in the shade 04 Tan Bronze. So first of all, a moment for the packaging. This is actually like a leather touch. I don't know if it's real leather, but it's super, super luxurious. It has the little Christian Dior symbol there. And then this is what the product itself looks like. So you can see that I use this quite a bit. I've already worn a little dent in the middle. And remember that I'm a person who doesn't do a full face of makeup every single day. This has been lasting forever. A little bit of this goes a really long way. And this is the perfect shade. It's such a perfect neutral shade. You can use it to bronze or you can use it to contour. It doesn't have any kind of a luminescence or a shine to it. The formula is also like super buildable and super subtle, so you can go really, really light-handedly and just get a perfect like dusting of a bronze, or you can go a little bit heavier and build it up. And I've told you guys before that the reason I love this so much is because I feel like you can't mess it up. Like, I'm somebody who is not a professional makeup artist. I'm not an expert at makeup. I'm very much a newbie when it comes to like contouring and all of that stuff. I'm not like super, super good at it. And even I feel like I can't mess this up. Like, it's such a good beginner friendly bronzer. And also this is the lightest shade that they have, this 0410 bronze. So if you are fair skin toned, I recommend this one. This one I would definitely recommend. So yes, it's a little bit expensive, but I think it's worth it. Okay, so I have 3 blush recommendations. This first blush is the Nars Afterglow Liquid Blush in the shade Orgasm. So this, I think, was a new product that came out last year. The shade is not new, however. Orgasm's been around for a long time, and I absolutely love this. And I'm not somebody who, again, I'm not a makeup professional, and I find this really, really easy to use. It's very beginner friendly, really hard to mess up. So the color is really pretty. I love that the Orgasm color is fairly neutral. I feel like it has just the right amount of kind of a warmth in there, but also a cooler pink tone. So I feel like this matches so many different skin tones. I love the applicator. A little bit goes a long way. It's a very wet application and very easy to blend out. So every time I've used this, you guys, like, I've had some cream or liquid blushes before that when I've applied them, I didn't like how they applied. Like, I felt like they removed a little bit of my makeup underneath, or they were patchy, or they were hard to blend out. This is super, super easy to blend out coming from somebody who is not like super good at it. You know what I mean? Really easy to use. I always love how it looks when I put this on. The first liquid or cream blush that every time I put it on, I like how it looks. So I feel like, again, it's really hard to mess up. I put about 2 to 3 dots on each cheek, and I just blend it out and up kind of toward my temple and like the higher part of my cheekbone. And it just looks absolutely flawless. And again, the color Orgasm I think is perfect for so many different skin tones and skin shades. My second blush recommendation is another new discovery for me last year, and this is the Dior Rosy Glow Blush in the shade 001 Pink. So first of all, the packaging is obviously very, very beautiful. This is that super bright, cool toned bubblegum Barbie pink that went viral last year. I feel like there's so many companies now who have this kind of bright, cool bubblegum pink color. And I was really, really intimidated by this when I first saw it. And I thought, there's no way that that is going to look good on my skin. There's absolutely no way. But when I was looking through pictures and reviews on the Sephora website, it didn't seem to matter what ethnicity the person was. It didn't seem to matter what their skin tone was. It didn't matter whether they had blonde hair or brown hair or blue eyes or brown eyes. This looked good on every single person I saw this on. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to give it a chance because maybe it'll look good. And actually, you guys, this is one of my favorite blushes. I have used this quite a bit. You can see that I've worn the writing, the embossment off of the powder quite a bit. Again, similar to the bronzer, this is really hard to mess up. You can put, like, it's very buildable. It's not a super heavy, super pigmented product. It does have a little bit of a radiance to it. And again, I like that you can't really mess it up. So you can go super light and just have a really nice flush of pink, or you can really build it up and get a little bit more dramatic. It just depends on what you like. And this color, I honestly think this color just flatters everybody. I don't know what it is about it, because it looks like it would be intense and kind of crazy and like too much, or at least that's my perception. Or it looks like you could only use it with like really cool toned people. But honestly, this flatters every single person I have ever seen it on. And my final recommendation, and also happens to be a blush, is the Hourglass blush. This is the Ambient Lighting Blush in the shade Sublime Flesh. I've talked about this one ad nauseum before. You guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about it, but this is one of my favorite favorite blushes. So as you can see, it's perfect for people who have a neutral undertone because you can see that it is mostly cool, but it has these kind of like slightly warmer coral lines running through it. And again, it's an Hourglass product. Their powders are amazing. They glide on beautifully onto the skin. They're super blendable. You can build them up or you can just put a really nice light dusting. It's not overly pigmented to the point that you're going to accidentally apply too much. Again, I just really love the finish. Every time I apply this, I'm happy with the results, and that's really important to me. Like, I don't want to have products that are super finicky, or some days they end up looking good, other days they end up looking terrible just because the formula was like too heavy or too pigmented. I want something that's more buildable, that I can kind of work my way up. And I just absolutely love this. So again, it's perfect for those neutral toned gals. I have a really hard time finding eyeshadows and blushes and foundations because for the longest time I thought I was a warm undertone, and then I discovered I'm actually neutral leaning a little cool. And for some reason, so many products go orange, like so many skin tints, tinted sunscreens, so many different ranges of foundations. They just all are a little warm. And so yeah, when I find something that's great for us neutral girls, I like to advocate. So I absolutely love this, you guys. Probably my favorite blush of them all. Like, if I could only take one blush with me to a desert island, this would be the one, because I just know that it's going to be easy to work with. It goes with every single makeup look. It's perfectly neutral and it always flatters my skin and it always looks nice. I really cannot mess this up. That is my final recommendation and also my final blush in today's video. So that was it for today's Sephora sale recommendations. I would like to know down below if you guys have any recommendations that you would make to me, although I think a lot of you have been recommending things in my last few videos. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I'll see you all very soon in my next one. Bye for now.